Well, Dean, as we heard in your piece, people responded to the president's steady, measured tone. Do you get the sense people believe that he can govern the way that he spoke?
Well, that's an open question, Elaine. Clearly, the people who saw the speech, who listened to it, were encouraged by that tone. And it's a question of whether the White House wants to continue along those lines. This was a speech about unity. It was a speech that did reach out in some respects to the other side, talking about working with Democrats and so forth. But there's still a lot of skepticism, even here in a place like Grand Rapids, which is very Republican and is really one of the cities that helped Donald Trump carry the state of Michigan, surprisingly, in the November election.
Well, Dean, the people who seem to respond to the presidential tone, as you said, of the speech, do you sense that they're the same voters who were drawn initially to candidate Trump's brazenness during the campaign?
Well, that's the difference between the people who he's going to govern and the people who are in his base. The people who are in his base love the daily attacks on the news media and other perceived enemies that the White House may have. But, you know, what we may have witnessed last night is a slow recognition that the president is the president, and he's the president of all the people. That may run counter to what his base wants to hear, but, you know, after all, he does have to govern the whole country. And so I think you saw the beginning of that sort of, not a pivot, maybe a pirouette, as I think it was somebody called it. And we'll, you know, we just have to wait to see whether the Twitter storm is going to continue apace or whether we're just going to tone things down a bit.
Yeah, a lot of folks watching to see if that takes place. Well, there was a divide among people you spoke to over the president's message of unity. I want to play some of a conversation you had with a father and son. Take a listen.
Were you struck at all by his call for unity and bringing everybody together to work together?
I guess it's a break from what he's done so far. So I think that's a good thing.
I think there's a lot of things that Trump can fix, but I feel like there's a lot of room that Trump is going to overcompensate and make some big mistakes.
So, Dean, what struck you about those opposing viewpoints?
Well, again, there is a great deal of skepticism. The people who like Trump like him for reasons that have to do with emotion. Even they will concede they've not seen a lot of details regarding his proposals. And the people who are opposed to Trump are worried that what they have seen so far in the rollout of this administration is what they're going to get. So people on both sides are holding back a little, and even the opponents are saying, all right, let's give him some time, let's give him a chance. At least that's what the opponents here in Michigan are saying.
So, Dean, the Democrats you spoke to who voted for the president, what did you find that they saw in him, and are they satisfied so far with his administration's agenda?
Well, there's no agenda yet really for them to be satisfied with. They're reacting right now to a lot of executive orders and things like that. There's been no legislative agenda that in any detail. But if you're talking to Democrats who voted for Trump, a lot of them voted against Hillary Clinton, frankly. They didn't find her to be an acceptable candidate. They did believe that Trump would be a change, and that's what they wanted. They wanted a change, and they thought that Hillary Clinton represented the same.
All right. Dean Reynolds in Grand Rapids, Michigan for us. Dean, thank you.
You're welcome.